If you've been around me any sort of amount of time or you've been watching these videos, you know that I am passionate about education. And with that, lately, now that my girls have turned 5, I've been getting a lot of questions of like, oh, well, what are you doing for their schooling? Are they in pre-K? Are they in kindergarten now? Like, are you homeschooling? I'm like, yeah, we're homeschooling. Actually, specifically, we're unschooling. And then I get that whole, but you're a trained teacher. Why would you want to unschool your girls? Let me tell you. Thank you for watching this video today. I want to talk about unschooling and specifically why I am unschooling my girls. As I've said before, I am passionate about education, and one of my hearts is to really help those who maybe need some information as they're homeschooling or just schooling their children. And if you want to partner with us, you could be a champion. You could join us through Patreon to help get more videos like that out to other people. Yes, I have 2 education degrees and I have taught 3 different systems, the Australian, the British, and the American. And I've worked with a wide array of students. And yes, I'm passionate about education, and I study and I research and I talk to parents. And more as I'm hearing all of these different things, I've been feeling like a little bit jaded about our expectations on our children. And since becoming a parent, I've been like, oh, is this really what I want for my girls? And so I've had to stop and look at how do I want my children to learn? How do I want their life experiences to be? And this is why I really sort of settled in to unschooling at this particular point in time. But what is unschooling? Well, it's not so much just a method of homeschooling. It is more of a mindset. It is an approach to how you're going to be schooling your children. And it's really more child-led. That's probably a better way to describe it, rather than it's not like a deschooling sort of thing. You see, it's not the best to say unschooling, but more that it's child-led, it's child-directed. You're going with what they are interested in to lead in their learning. And you don't just sort of sit back and be like, oh, well, fine, whatever you want to learn. It is connecting together, but you are not telling your children what to learn. They are saying, this is what I'm interested in. Now, this came about in the 1970s. John Holt, sort of known as the father of unschooling, started writing about sort of some of the shortfalls that were happening in the education system. And some people have really taken a hold of it. I guess, you know what? I'm one of them. Because as I've been around and teaching and just in research and study and talking with people, I'm seeing that more and more children at a younger age are being stressed by school and education. And that just breaks my heart. I don't want to see like that this pushing and we've got to get that. I want to see children who love to learn. And that's why I really started looking at unschooling for my girls. There are definitely the purists who you never mention school at all. You would never have any sort of set hours. There is definitely no curriculum, and it would extend into other areas of life. So the children are choosing their bedtimes and their clothing and their food, and the parents just sort of guide but don't enforce. And then there's more of what I would call a middle ground of unschooling, where I feel like that I've landed, and that is we can be using curriculum for some things if we want to, but it's more that the students are leading, your children are leading what they want to learn. It's more sort of thematic based. This is the interest. Many subjects can come under that instead of it being like subject driven. And they're going to be leading and directing where they want to go, and you're guiding and you're helping to bring that in. You're helping to show them resources from so many different sort of things. It's not just a textbook, but we can be using museums and outside and the internet and other books and other people. Resources are all around us. And that's where I've sort of fallen that this is what I want to do. Now, there are definitely pros to unschooling. And the number one really is motivated students, because you know what? They're motivated to learn. They're learning what they are interested in. And usually from that, we have better retention. And that is wonderful. It brings up also this sense of responsibility and accountability. Oh, this is my education. And this can extend into their adult life. We're also building on not only their interests, but their abilities, their gifts, their talents, their strengths. And this is all something that is wonderful. Now, we do have the potential that there might be some info gaps, but usually there's that motivation from the students and they just get filled in. And maybe it's not coming like at this age, but maybe a bit later, but it is coming. And in unschooling, you can't just sit back and go, oh, well, fine, take care of your education. This is great. My hands are off. No, you need to be in tune with your children, with their interest. Oh, they're changing. Okay, great. You need to be able to guide into the resources because it is not a teacher directed. It is that our children saying, this is what I want to learn. And you're not saying, okay, great, here's that curriculum, follow it. But you're saying, you know what, we can learn from so many different places and you guide with those resources. Maybe it's museums or it's outside, it's talking to somebody else, it's the internet, it's books, it's so many different things. And that's what I really love about it is this approach that learning is happening all the time. Why am I choosing to unschool? Well, right now, yes, my girls are young and I want to see them have a love of learning. I don't want to bog them down. I want them to want to learn, to want to read, to want to explore. There's those lots of wants. I'm also very big on learning styles, and I've been really sort of watching at the different styles of my girls, and one of them is very much that kinesthetic hands-on learner, and I'm a little worried that she would get lost in the school system because she wants to move, and she wants to be doing these things, and I don't want to see her being labeled as a difficult child because she can't keep still or because she wants to be touching and doing and manipulating and singing. Why? I am also very much into skills-based learning. I want to teach skills rather than content. I want my girls to know their critical thinking, how to research, how to put things into their own words, to read, and then be able to write. I want these skills that can come across all subjects through every facet of their education, rather than this is what we need to learn here, and this is what we need to learn here, and this is what we need to learn here. You know, we can always find the content, the facts, the information, but we need the skills to be able to do that. So skills-based learning really is important. And then there's the freedom and the flexibility. I don't have to get my girls up at ridiculous hours. We don't have to do set things, but rather it becomes more organic and learning is happening all around us. And I love that song. You know, I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Yes, it's about love, but I sing it about learning. Learning is all around us, and we can bring that in with this freedom and flexibility. If we had them in school, we wouldn't be able to take the trips that we do. Being a tri-national family with my husband from Germany, I'm from Australia, and yes, the girls are all three, being American, German, Australian, we travel to go and see our families, and if they're in school, we can't take off during the school year to go and visit family. And I love the freedom to be able to do that and what my girls get to learn as they get to see different animals and other people and the history and the culture. We have great freedom and flexibility to be able to do that. And I really do want to ignite a love of learning in my girls. I love to learn. I really do. I'm learning all the time, and I want to see that for them, and I want them to feel ready for it because there is developmental expectations that seem to be just changing all the time, and I don't understand why. I still tend to look across at Europe and go, formal learning isn't happening until, starting until you're 6, and there is good, solid research on that. So why are we pushing our kids earlier and earlier? That is something that I don't understand because I feel like at times we're really pushing them to try to learn things and know things, especially concepts that they are not yet ready for. I was really excited when the other week was actually before Christmas. My girls go, Mum, I want to learn how to read and write. And yes, I was excited because I knew that they were ready. I'd already seen them sounding out things and they were picking out words in a book, but now it was coming from them that this is what they wanted to do. And I'm like, gotcha, babes. We are right there. So let's do that. And that's what we have started doing. What does an unschooling week look like for us? We don't have any set time or hours. Things are happening a little bit more organically. But let's look at an example of our S week. We are doing phonics, so it's all about S, and I'm teaching them in the order that we usually use to build up words, not in alphabetical order. So we started off, with S. and we had fun with it. And there were so many things that we could do. Each day we tried to create this list of words that begin with S, and we had a goal for the week. Could we meet that? And each day we added to it. For a while now, meal planning has been something that the girls and I do together. At the beginning of the week, we sit down and we look at what foods do we want to eat, and we look at recipes, maybe try a new recipe. We create our shopping list and we go and do. Well, it was S week, so why not make all of our meals start with foods that begin with S? So we had soup and salad, we had steak, we had sausages and spätzle because we brought our German in there, we had salmon and squash, and we had spanakopita. It was so much fun, and they enjoyed seeing those different things. Yes, we ate strawberries and had strawberry milk and all of that. There's so many great foods that begin with S, and they just saw it as something that we're just doing fun. Hey, it's a sort of a theme for the week. Let's just do it. And every time we go out, we're doing things like, let's look for things that begin with S, because that's where maybe we can build onto our list. Or with our numbers, because we did 6 and 7 and 16 and 17. So when we walked in our neighborhood or we were at the shops, could we find those numbers? We also had fun taking Skittles and making the numbers 6 and 7 and putting them in groups. It was all very hands-on and it was fun, and we just then got to eat the Skittles. And we asked Google about animals that start with S. And then we looked at where they lived and what did they look like and what sounds did they make, building on the fact that we like to ask Google what sounds animals make. And so I just sort of expanded a little bit. It's just a game that we already do. Arts and crafts is involved in it too, because we were looking at shapes. So with stars and spheres and semicircles, yes, we looked for those when we were out and about, but we made like a starry night picture using sticker stars. We made snowmen out of marshmallows, and we made sock puppets because you know what? That's fun. And we always have random things around the house that we can make things out of. Did my girls think that at any time we were just having set lessons and learning? No, we were just having fun, and they don't realize yet how much we're building upon different things. And these are what our weeks look like, depending on what the sound or the blend is, or maybe we just take a different theme for that week. But we just build into it, and we just try to make it as organic as possible. Now, unschooling is not for everybody. It really isn't. And I always say to people, you do what works for you. If having your kids in school saves your sanity and this is what you need, you do it. Like, to me, there is no judgment on anybody. You do what works for you. Right now, unschooling is working for us, and we'll take it year by year. I'm sure I'll add sort of more curriculum in there later as they grow older. But it is fun, and I love watching my girls explore and learn, and this is what I want for them. There is so much that they can learn. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about unschooling or what I'm doing or why, please shoot me a message or an email. I would love to answer that for you and just start a dialogue on what it is and why it might be good for you or why it might not, because unschooling is not for everybody. But if you know someone that's maybe been struggling with what to do education-wise for their children, why not share this video with them and then they can contact me? That would be great. And if you're really enjoying this, maybe you could partner with us as a champion, because education is my passion. And I would just love to be able to keep bringing out quality content for you guys so that we can all be learning together. Thank you for watching.